The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the pit complete. That is crazy stuff.
Westside Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Welcome to the Champion Motorsports GT Series. Today we will see the first round in the 2015 Endurance Series featuring the fabulous GT3 cars, the BMW Z4, the Ford GT, the McLaren MP412C, and of course the Roof RT12R Track. You are watching the Global Sim Racing channel coming to you live from Circuit of the Americas. And this is the first of 12 rounds of racing. Each race will be 1 hour and 40 minutes and will be a test of the skills and patience of the drivers and the teams involved. I am Richard Losper, and with me in the broadcast booth today is Sean Ambrose. Our director is Joe Peak, and our camera sets are provided by Dougie Beard, who, by the way, is racing here today as well. Sean, Circuit of the Americas, what do you know about this track? It's a fabulous track, but I'm not quite so sure how suited it is to these cars.
Well, Richard, I got to tell you, I love this track. Practically in my backyard, Austin, Texas, state capital. Man, this is a great track. Only been open for a few years now. The F1 boys certainly enjoy it. Herman Tilke designed track with 20 turns, 3.427 miles. Full Grand Prix course tonight. Turn 1 is really reminiscent of Spa. Turn 11, hairpin, just like Turn 1, equally as challenging. Lots of fast straight. You get two main really fast straights that are going to lead to sharp corners, lots of speed. In short, this track has everything, Richard. And again, you know, it's a unique setting down there. It's really basically in the middle of nowhere, but it's just east of downtown, about 25 minutes. And on a really nice, beautiful sunny day, you can look out to the west there from the track and see the beautiful skyline of Austin, Texas. And I got to tell you, they get rocking here at this place, and got a nice big amphitheater in the middle of the thing. Seen lots of great concerts there. It's a great place to go.
Well, Sean, let's have a look and see how these cars will go on this track. We do have a lap guide available, so let's have a look at that.
All right, Kevin Brown is behind the wheel of the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Circuit of the Americas. Turn 1 is known for this incredible uphill braking zone. Really, you can't see that sharp little apex curve until you've already started turning in, so picking all your markers is critical. Then we head back downhill into 2, which will be flat out. This leads us into the start of the S's. This series of corners makes all other road course S sections look like a quick trip down the block. Back and forth, 7 separate corners, and really you could claim 8 since this one has 2 apexes. In the end, it all comes back uphill to turn 9, where you want to hug the right as much as you can, and once you've got the angle, put your foot down and power over the top. 10's a quick left flick that you've got to hit just right, or else you're flying wide or losing time. Plus, the hairpin of 11 is a good place to sneak a pass in. But if it was me, I'd be more concerned about getting a nice wide entry and getting on the gas for the backstretch. This straightaway is going to give you a long time to think about what you've just done. If you nailed it, you can smile and take a breather. If you botched it, keep an eye on the mirror and decide if it's worth defending, because that trailing car is going to be all over you like Kevin on a piece of Gators memorabilia. 12 is really your best place to get by somebody. Sharp corner and a heavy braking zone at the end of a long stretch. Doesn't get much more tilt design than that. From here, it's all fiddly hairpins and technical corners. Cars are going to be line astern unless someone makes a mistake, which is actually terribly easy. Going wide or the rear coming around from entering too hot are both common sights. And then here with 16, 17, and 18, it just never feels like you hit the corner in the best way. They've marked it as 3 separate ones, but it's just a big, long arc. Regardless, you gotta get the car to the right because 19 drops off something fierce, and even drivers at the highest skill level tend to push wide. From there, the final corner is another slow one that requires the slow in, fast out mantra. If you can out-drag your competitor, it sets you up well for a pass into one. But that's how you complete a lap around Circuit of the Americas.
Well, you've just seen a lap around this track, the Circuit of the Americas. Very long track, very suited to high-speed Formula One cars. We'll have to wait and see, Sean, how these cars are going to handle this track. Now, I've seen these cars on this track many times, and in some cases we had some beautiful races, and I think that today is going to be no exception. It's going to be a fun race, a very good race, I'm pretty sure. We've got dynamic weather here. The cars are limited on fuel as well, Sean, to 65%, so there'll be pit stops. They do have one fast repair, meaning they have a spare car in their garage. Well, we're all ready to go. So one thing we should bring to the attention of the viewers is the orange zone. So do you want to describe the orange zone for us there, Sean?
Yeah, certainly, Richard. The orange zone. Okay, we do need to talk about that because it's very important. This zone constitutes the outlined orange zone area on the track during the first lap. Basically, when we talk about the orange zone, it is going to be everything from the start of the race through about turn 9 when you get out of the S's there and start to pick up speed down through 10 and into 11. So that orange zone, you've got to be careful through there. The zone should be regarded as a pass with extreme caution area during the first lap of the race. Should an incident occur because the driver chooses to attempt to pass within this orange zone, the driver initiating the pass will likely be held responsible. So watch yourself. Again, that orange zone will start from basically from the top of the hill all the way down through the exit off of turn 9.
That is correct. Well, we are not that far away, about 3 minutes or so away from the start of this race. It is a rolling start, so we'll have a pace lap, and then these guys will take off now. Just to further inform the viewers about the orange zone, it doesn't say you cannot overtake, but you have to use extreme caution as described there by the admins of the series and by Sean. Extreme caution means if you do anything to impede another driver, the one in front of you, or heaven forbid make contact with that driver, you are going to be in for a real bad time with the stewards or the incident review team. So very, very cautious, and this for about half of the race. I think it's a great idea, Sean. Try to keep the guys safe on that first lap, which is always the most dangerous lap.
Yeah, and that charge up the hill to 1 is getting into that hairpin there is really tricky. Certainly lots of room to run off, but you're going to see everybody stacking up there, and that's really where you're going to have to watch it. And, you're going to be right now here in qualifying, track temperature up at 94 degrees, so track's probably going to be a little slick. Might be, and you're going to be on some new tires there getting to the top of the hill. So, yeah, it's definitely a thing to watch out for. Getting through those S's will be tricky first time around.
Oh, absolutely. And, these are not... actually, when you look at this track, when you look at turn 1, it's a left-hander, but it does remind me a heck of a lot of La Source at Spa, don't you think? With that very sharp turn 1, turn, only this one goes to the left, and even on the exit there, it looks to me a bit like Spa, sort of heading downhill towards at Spa I'm talking about, towards Eau Rouge, but here they head down into the S's. So it looks like a really great track, but I'm here to tell you that it is a very, very tough track to run on, Sean.
Yeah, it is. It presents many challenges with 20 turns, and each of them presenting their own little mystique. You're going to have to be really careful around here. You're going to have to keep the car on the track. Obviously, you're only going to get one free repair, so you want to keep her out of the stuff and away from the drivers next to you. That basically triple apex from 15 through 19 there. That'll be interesting to watch on the first lap, and as the tires start to wear out on these machines, it'll be even more interesting to watch it through there. That'll be a hard one to take at full speed, obviously, and as those tires wear out, that will be a very interesting section of the track. I'll be watching that a lot today, Richard.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, qualifying has just finished, so we can, as we see guys just finishing off their laps and coming to a start. I think we've got the grid formed by now, so let us go ahead and call out the grid for you. So starting at the top there, we have on the pole position with a time of 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Sorry, let me just make sure I've got everybody correct. Yes, I am correct. Yes. So starting on pole position, Leandro Schmidt. No, we just saw a new time just posted right at the very last second there. So Umberto Roca will be on the pole position now, Sean, followed by Leandro Schmidt in the second place, Dujan Boldrin in third place, and Paul Darling in fourth place. They are followed on row 3 by Miguel El Crudo and Arthur Ermom on the third row. Sean?
And GSRC's own Dougie Beard there will start in 7th. Mike Griffith right there next to him in 8th. Tom Ratchie will be starting in 9th. Jason Lundy in 10th. Drew Lidke in 11th. Chris Hudson in 12th. And Christopher Hoogveld in 13th, Richard.
In 14th place, we have Kevin Hennings. 15th place, Kleber Gomez. In 16th place, Sebastian Roca. In 17th place, Tim Collier. In 18th place, Peter Hebron. 19th place, Kyle Heron. And 20th place taken up by Troy Fagan. Sean?
And going off 21st will be Anthony James. In 22nd, Daniel Rice. 23rd, Simon Goodwin. Jay Frills in 24th. David Slee in 25th. James Hume, 26th tonight. David Anderson in 27th. Dexter Castro starts 28th tonight. Jay Dargett, Warren McGarry, and Emil Garcia did not post a time, Richard.
Well, folks, we live in a very immediate time. I just got a message from Dexter Castro from the grid saying that he's feeling ill and that he will not be racing today. So Dexter Castro is a DNS, did not start straight away. He did mention in other forums that he was feeling unwell. So Dexter, all the best, my friend. Rest up and get well soon. And meanwhile, we will continue on with the race. Now, Sean, we should see the pace car out there very, very soon. Umberto, whoa, there's the pace car. Row number 1, Umberto Roca, Leandro Schmidt. Both very, very good drivers. Umberto has shown the way in the sprint series. How will he go in this series, which is of course 100 minutes? That's 1 hour and 40 minutes of racing. Gonna be exciting. I am looking forward to this race, particularly towards the middle of the race. That's when your strategy starts to pay off and you see things happening, Sean.
Well, talk about strategy. Roca definitely had it there, obviously, on the qualifying lap. He knew exactly what he was doing. seemed like he had that well timed. He got a chance to see everybody else run their laps, and then he turned his fastest one right there in time. I think that was all by design. He's going to lead this race on point, make it to the top of the hill there on the inside where you really want to be, and get off into the S's. I like his chances to pull away and stay in the clean air for most of the day if he can do it.
From the backstretch. Yeah, so the pace car has started. It's a short pace lap. They're not going to do the full track. They'll be starting on the backstretch. So about a quarter, half of the lap to go before they start. Interesting thing from my perspective here is the fact that on pole and on second position are two of the roof cars. That's interesting to me. And of course, we have got a Ford GT in third position. But now they are starting to get into the final section before getting onto the front stretch once again. So we're not that far from a start. We'll wait for the green light to come on at the moment. Remembering, of course, the orange zone is in force. No passing, or very, very cautious passing up until turn 9, was it, John?
Yes, that's right. Up until the exit of turn 9. That's right, Richard.
Well, they are approaching what I believe is the final turn on the track, and then they will start to hit up that. No, this is not the final turn quite yet. They're coming to it though, and then they'll hit up the hill for the start of this race. Off goes the pace car. They very, very sedate, 2 by 2 going into turn number 20. The car of Dujon Baldwin I'm watching in third position. They still very, very slow at this point in time. Nobody. Now the green light goes and away they go. Umberto Roca leading them away on the inside. On his outside, Leandro Schmidt. Dujon Baldwin braking early for that approach to turn 1, which is a tight turn. They all managed to get through. They all managed to get through. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, they're just all stacking up here at the back, 4 and 5 wide, off track, and everybody's back under control. I don't think anybody actually made any contact.
Yeah, just looking, skipping through the cars there, and I am seeing that they still all pretty well up to around about number 16 place, so that's all good. Anything happen further back, well, they're not racing quite yet. So let's go back to the front now, and we see Umberto Roca leading away. Leandro Schmidt already miles behind him. This is not a good start for Leandro. Dujon Baldwin challenging a little bit there, having a look. Now the Ford GT, Sean, has massive power down the long straightaway, so let's have a look and see if the Dujon can do anything against the very nimble cars of Leandro Schmidt and of course Umberto Roca in the roof track cars, which are probably better suited to these tight turns here.
Yeah, they definitely are, but you talk about that Ford GT, man. It has that straight line speed, the horsepower that you really need to get down. They make up a lot of time there. Don't gain as much in the turns, certainly compared to the roofs, but with the long straights on this track, the Ford GT can make a difference, just like we saw at Spa a couple weeks ago.
Yep, we have a battle just for the third place at the moment. We were just talking about the roof versus the Ford GT. We've got Dujon Baldwin in the Ford GT. Right behind him, Paul Darling, looking very racy at this stage. There you see a little bit of the power of the Ford GT pulling away on the straight. Now they've got a long straight. We're getting some iRacing blinking in and out as well. Now, it's interesting to me, Sean, that 3 of the top 4 cars are in fact roofs. Does that tell a story?
It might before this race is over, for sure. They do, you've got a couple of really good hairpins here, and, we've got that triple apex there on the other end of the track that we talked about. It really it suits that roof a lot better, but I can't help but to think about the straight line speed of that GT. And we can't forget about the McLaren. The McLaren's a really tough car, and probably can go a lot further than the other two if you're not having your best day in your line. It will perform, and it will stay out there all day if you. And we got one around right now. Looks
we
like
are. Go ahead.
looks like that might have been Tim. No, not Tim Collier. I'm sorry.
Daniel Rice possibly, or Jay Dargett showing as being off track at this point in time.
Yeah, that was Daniel Rice. I'm sorry there, Richard. It was Daniel Rice that was off in the Gulf Machine. The pro driver there had gotten off the track and did not get into the wall. No damage, just had it off, and he managed to get it back out under power.
Well, he's showing is in the pit stall right now. There we see on replay him going into the wall rear first. That was not a hard hit, so he should be able to get back on track pretty easily. However, I am seeing Jay Dargett in the pit stall, so not quite sure what's happened there. We will check on that for you. Meanwhile, guys, I have been looking for the first of the Z4s, the BMWs. We have to go back to 8th position to find Jason Lundy in 8th. No, sorry, Mike Griffith just in front of him. In 7th place is the first of our Z4. So these pretty heavy cars are struggling a little bit, as we see. Car slowing down there in front of the Dougie Beard and Jason Lundy. That was Chris Hudson by the looks of it. Or was it? Yes, it was. Miguel Alcrudo, we're hearing, slowed down there. He might have got a slow down penalty, but certainly that's one roof that's been overtaken. Now, let's go back up further to the Paul Darling versus Dujon Boldrin battle. We see that Dujon Boldrin is currently getting away from Paul Darling slightly, so great job there by Dujon Boldrin, Sean. He's handling that car pretty well, although he does appear to be blinking in and out a bit.
Yeah, Boldrin really strong right now. You know, we talked about Daggett being in the pits a little while ago. It was on lap 2. Had a little trouble there in 1 coming off the top of the hill there, and he took it right into the inside wall. Heavy damage, had to bring it in and get it repaired. But, yeah, great battle going on up at the front right now. Roca's showing the way, but Boldrin's back there lurking, man. He could this race could be his.
Well, we shall have to wait and see. Now, let us go back a little ways directed to Douglas Beard, who is our own GRC. Not that we want to make too fine a point of it, but the point I do want to make that Dougie Beard is, in fact, the teammate of Dujon Boldrin. And he's 3 or 4, maybe 5 places back there. He's in 9th position showing at the moment. So he's doing a pretty good job in that Ford GT as well, trying to make inroads on the guys in front of him, and I think succeeding slightly, although a long way to go for Dougie Beard still. Now, we're driving along with Tom Radjay at the moment. Now, he is sitting in 12th position. He is following Drew Litke. Now, Drew Litke was the last season's amateur championship, did a great job in that car. He is just in front of he's muffed that corner, and he's just lost the position to both 2 cars just past him. Tom Rate, the last one to pass him as they approach turn number 1 now. So it just goes to show, Sean, how tough it is to control these cars as they get all out of shape going into coming out of turn 1 there.
Yeah, it was Chris Hudson they just got by. But, you know, I'm watching the battle a little bit further up in front. You know, we were talking about Dougie Beard. This battle between Lundy and Griffith and Hermont, really good battle right now. These cars can't seem to get away from each other. They are just basically following in each other's tracks right now as we see Lundy get up the hill there, and Mike Griffith and Arthur Hermont right in front of him. That roof is got a lot of power.
Yeah, and just behind them, the 4th car in this little pack here is indeed Miguel Alcrudo. So these 4 cars are in a battle. So we've got the roof, Miguel Alcrudo in the roof. In front of him, Jason Lundy in the Z4. Then we've got Mike Griffith in the other Z4. These are the leading Z4s in this race. And then we have Arthur Hermom in a Ford GT. Interesting battle there, 3 car makes involved.
Yeah, and I don't know if there are any team orders in place or anything like that. Certainly, these are early days in this race, so if there are, they would certainly play themselves out later in this event. Would you not think so?
Yeah, well, look, it is a very long race, hour 40 minutes, so plenty of time to make moves. And, the nature of these long races, as you would know, Sean, is that in many cases it's won in the pits and not out on the track.
Yeah, well, these pit stops will be very important. They'll pit off here they'll make that turn off of 19, and they'll get in right before turn 20, and then it's a pretty long trip up that front straightaway there to your pit box. So you got to really be careful getting in there, and you have to have an efficient stop, and then that outlap is so critical. People underestimate that outlap. You've got to be just on point with that outlap if you really want to stay in the race and not lose time to those guys in front of you.
Yes, now let's go back up to the front here with Paul Darling in the roof. A battle starting to develop here, I believe, between himself and Dujon Baldwin. Dujon had gotten away from him a little bit. And we're getting information. Tom Ratji is making a move on, who is that? Drew Litke. Interesting. Will he try it as they go down the hill there? Left-hander. Now a fairly long straight. They're in the back section of the course right now. Nothing doing at this point as he closes up on Drew. Goes a little wide. Misses the apex coming into... I don't quite know what turn number that is. I'll have to catch up on that later. Now he's lost a little bit of time on Drew Litke in the McLaren. The McLaren, they're going down the long back straight now. Let's see which car, Sean, has the more power. I believe the McLaren is stronger in that department.
Yeah, it has the better straight line horsepower than the roof does, but it does the roof again, the BMW has that really has that good handling as well in the turns, and maybe even better than the McLaren.
Yeah, it's closed right up. Gee, did he make contact there? It might be interesting to get a replay of that just a few seconds back. I think he did make contact with Drew Litke there. We'll try and get that on replay. And we see the replay. He comes up on the rear of Drew Litke. They go into the turn. He's very hot coming into that turn. He goes to avoid. Looks like he didn't make contact there, Sean. He just missed him.
Well, then I wonder where he got the damage on the front end of that machine then, because it's certainly wrinkled. So if he didn't get it from that, he got it somewhere else. But he is wrinkled. I'm seeing a wrinkled car.
Yeah, I believe Sean, you might have had that from an earlier incident, as he is all over the back of Drew Litke. He is desperately trying to get by. Drew Litke just has enough coming out of the corners to now as they go through the S section here. Once again, you'll see him try and close the gap there, Drew Litke. You can watch how these guys break into those S's. Fascinating to watch them drive through this very tricky part of the course. This is not a flat out section by any means. And now we see once again he closes right up. Does Tom Rache on Drew Litke, trying to make the pass. He goes a little wide. Out in front goes the McLaren once again of Drew Litke, putting that power down as we have a double situation there with a slight mistake from Tom Rache and the extra power of the McLaren. So this battle will rage on for quite a while, but certainly Tom Rache has given notice to Drew Litke that I am here and I want your position.
You're missing the battle right behind him. Chris Hudson's doing all he can to keep Kevin Hennings. Hennings making the move now in the 117, trying to as they get to the top of the hill. He's got the inside. Can Hennings pull it off? Not quite. Hudson manages to fend him off there and get the speed down the hill.
Yeah, look, he was so close to the inside of the track that it would have been very difficult for him to get any speed coming out of that corner. And in fact, he's lost a significant amount of time, does Kevin Hennings, on Chris Hudson. So he's got it all to do once again. But it was a good battle while it lasted. He tried, and unfortunately it did not work out for him. Chris Hudson gets away with that, but it just looks to me as if Kevin Hennings does have better speed generally than does Chris Hudson, and I wouldn't be surprised if he picks him up again and has another go. It's
a real good battle, but right now we're riding with Darling right now, who's still putting the pressure on Dujon Baldwin right now, and Darling lap after for at least the last 4 laps, I think, is really just put a lot of pressure on Baldwin, but just can't seem to pull off the move. Again, when we get to the long straights, that's when that Ford GT flexes the muscle, baby, and it just can't be beat down those straightaways.
Yes, indeed. And I want to tell you that the Ford GT does look like a really mean car. It's flat, low to the ground, whereas the roof track looks like a sedan, basically. The Ford GT looks like a race car should look, I believe, don't you think?
Oh, it has all the classic lines and design of the golden era of racing, that era of racing from Grand Prix, the late 50s through the 60s, and just love that car. It's just always been one of my favorites. Certainly maybe not one of my favorite to drive, but it is a beast, a pure beast, man.
Well, look, we have a little bit of the fairy touch going on here from Paul Darling. I believe that he's going to get the better of Dujon Baldwin very soon. He's all over the back of him as they come into the turns. The only advantage that Dujon has is going down the straightaways. Now, luckily, there are quite a few long straightaways here, but I do believe that the nimble way that these roofs can handle these corners will eventually it will prove to be supreme, and he will take that position, I think.
Yeah, well, and I'm keeping an eye on the battle just behind. Arthur Hermont's doing a pretty good job of keeping Griffith and Alcrudo behind him, but a little bit of a fight going on right now with Alcrudo and Griffith. Alcrudo getting right up on the bumper of Mike Griffith going to the turn there, but Hermont right now, again, just a little bit more speed down the straights, a faster car than Griffith and Alcrudo right now, but they're working hard. They're trying to get to him. They've been working on him for about 4 laps now, Richard.
Yeah, look, this was a 4-car pack before. Now it's down to a 3-car pack. Miguel Alcrudo in 7th position right now, and in front of him, Mike Griffith, as you said. And then, of course, the Ford GT once again of Arthur Hermont. And these guys are probably about 5 seconds or so off Paul Darling. So they've got a little battle all by themselves. Now we say that we're hearing the battle for the lead is on. We haven't checked in with the leaders before. We've got Leandro Schmidt trying to make a move on Umberto Roca. He partially succeeded, but Umberto gets the position back as they go through the left-handers now, which is the last part of the track here. So they go through this last left-hander. This track, Sean, is so tricky. Now they come down to another section. They're going through the stadium section, I believe it's called here. So at this point in time, we have Umberto Roca firmly back in the lead again, but Leandro Schmidt showing that he is a force to be reckoned with. In other races, we've seen Umberto Roca just run away with it as they go down towards, I believe that is in fact turn number 20. Coming out of turn number 20, up the front straight towards turn 1. What can Leandro Schmidt do here, Sean? He's been certainly pressing.
He's pressing now, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get it. Unless he gets it inside, he can't quite do it. Back down the hill goes Roca. Still in control of this race, working his way through the S's real nice right now. Got that car sticking right on the curbs. No trouble at all as he glides through there. Almost a little bit of a slide there, but he's going to make it to turn 9 nice and clean and get himself off into 10 and down to 11.
Meanwhile, behind them, the battle has not abated one little bit between Paul Darling, who has certainly, from my point of view, had some connection problems here because he tends to be blinking in and out. It's an iRacing thing related to the internet connection. Watch the power go down from Dujon Baldwin. That has been the difference. That is why Paul Darling, who's been, in the turns faster, without a doubt, cannot catch up to and make a pass on Dujon Baldwin. Great driving with that heavy car.
Tell you what, some great racing going on all over the track right now. Nice little battles. Dougie Beard right now working on Jason Lundy right in front of him there, putting the move on the inside. He gets to the inside. That's not Lundy. I'm sorry. That's Kyle Herron who's lapped down.
Yeah, look, I want to go all the way back and start to look at some of the guys in the rear of the field. As you said, there's some fierce racing going on all over the track. Now, let's go to Sebastian Roca, who is in a little battle there with the guy in front of him, Jay Friels. He hasn't quite caught up to him yet, but I can see this battle brewing and possibly taking off in a little while. Just in front of Jay Friels, well, a fair way in front of Jay Friels, we have got Anthony James. Now, Anthony James is well known to us from the Sprint Series. But then, in front of these guys, we have got a 4-car pack. Behind in the pack is Kleber Gomez and then Troy Fagan. And there is a genuine battle going on between Simon Goodwin and Peter Hebron. And Simon has been trying for a little while to catch up to and make a pass on Peter Hebron in the Z4. Peter is having none of it. Now we see Simon Goodwin trying once again as they go through the back part of the course. So some really good racing going on all over the track. If we go in front of them, there's another good battle going on between Christian Hoogveld and Kevin Hennings, and just in front of them we've got Chris Hudson. Now we've been with these guys before, but let's take a moment with Christian Hoogveld in a Ford GT trying to get to grips with and make a pass on Kevin Hennings in the roof. Sean?
That has been a battle for several laps now, and Hennings really trying. Oh, he almost gets a little bit of the rear end there. Hennings really close to Hudson, and they're all over each other. He's got Hoogveld right behind him, man. That is a hot battle right now. Those guys are not showing much give in the early stages of this race here, Richard.
Yeah, definitely, and we see Hennings going to the inside. He might get it done now over Chris Hudson. I think he's got it. He's made it happen. He's made it stick. And now Christian Hoogveld, just behind them, will have a go at Chris Hudson as well. So great battle going on here. Now he goes in. He was very close. I think he might have touched him. No harm there. No foul at all. But he puts that power down and had to take evasive action. Look at Chris Hudson trying an impossible pass around the outside there. Couldn't make that stick at all. Carrying way too much speed in there, Sean. And of course paid the price and had to stay in position and fall back into line.
Hey, Richard. Paul Darling has got Dujan Boldrin in his sights as they head up the hill here, man. And I got to tell you, he has been right on his bumper in these last couple of turns. I really think starting to feel a position change coming on here. Darling has gotten as close to him, I think, as he's gotten so far, and that is one we got to keep an eye on here. They really the battle is heating up.
Yeah, but we've seen this before. This is deja vu for me now. Mind you, I think you're right. He's a bit closer every time than he has been previously. So maybe Dujan Boldrin just feeling pressure, or his tires are perhaps wearing a bit faster than as you would expect than the roof's tires. So we'll keep an eye on this one. But yeah, we definitely have a battle, Sean. And you're quite right, he's looking like he's ready to take the position. Dujan hanging on though. Dujan doing a great job in that car.
Yeah, he really is. He's done a great job of playing defense. Again, still has the power on the straights, but man, tell you what, Darling right now trying to put the move on him. He's got his outside. They're going through the left-hander here.
The outside is a good line to have as they come into that last section of the track. There's some really tight corners here, which of course will be to the advantage of Paul Darling. Let's have a look at Dujan. What can he do? He's got speed. He comes in. He has to brake hard to maintain the line that he wants around these really tight corners. Now they go into that right-hand sweeper there, which carries on and on and on and on. And then they go into a left hand. They're getting to the end of the lap here. looks like Paul Darling. There's a car way out on the weeds there in front of Paul Darling, which
Yes.
was Leandro Schmidt. Leandro Schmidt from second position. Now Paul Darling, Sean, is could possibly have a go at the second position. Great job by Paul Darling. Bad job by Leandro Schmidt. Made a bad mistake there, and now he's got to try and fend off a driver right on his bumper and in good form at the moment. Yes, we are looking at the replay of Schmidt. He got out into the sand there, into the marbles, didn't damage the car by the looks of it, but he lost a lot of time there, Sean, and he's brought the third and fourth place position right up to him.
Man, Lundy just almost creamed Dougie Beard there in a battle for 8th place. Got right to the back of his bumper, and I mean got in hot there at the top of the hill as they make their way through the S's right now. Jason Lundy really putting the pressure on old Dougie there. He's doing a decent job of playing defense, man, but he needs to watch out. Lundy is really on a charge, trying to make his way through. He's got his teammate behind him there. Ratchie is right there behind him, and those two obviously working together. They'll do all they can to get around Dougie Beard here as quick as they can.
Meanwhile, back up to the battle with Paul Darling. It looks like Paul Darling has dropped Dujon Baldwin off just a little bit. He now has his sights on Leandro Schmidt, and if you look at the way Paul Darling is racing at the moment, he is looking pretty pacey. Leandro Schmidt had a lot more speed than him, or perhaps it was just the draft from our leader Umberto Roca. But now that they are together with Paul Darling in the draft as they go down the straightaways, he can sniff a second position here, Sean, and I think without taking away from the other battles that's going on, this one is worth watching as well.
You know, as we get almost 13 laps into this race, Richard, I sit here and I look at where we're at right now, and I got to be honest, the positions 1 back through about 11th really haven't changed much at all. So our biggest mover of the race right now looks like right now Simon Goodwin having a pretty decent run, up 7 spots from 23rd.
And here's the battle from Jason Lundy against, in front of him, Douglas Beard. He closed right up as they came into turn 20. Now the power comes down from Dougie Beard. He pulls away a little bit. Jason Lundy, as they go up the hill towards turn 1, Jason Lundy closes up, and they take the left-hander there, the last source lookalike. Jason hit the curb a little bit there. Dougie Beard showing that he doesn't only make good camera sets, he can actually race as well, Sean.
Yes, he can. Saw him display his talents at Spa in the endurance race, the 24-hour, and yes, sir, he can wheel it. Yeah, it's pretty good race for him right now. But Lundy, man, is not showing much give, and again, he's got his teammate right behind him. And again, looking back through the field, there's still really lots of little battles going on. 2 and 3 cars just continuing to battle it out. Just can't get away from each other. And Simon Goodwin right now and Anthony James, they've been battling for several laps and fighting hard for 16th place. So, and then just in front of them, Troy Fagan. So another good 3.
Sean, I'm going to break right in here. This battle that we've got here between Jason Lundy and Dougie Beard, we're having a look on screen now at Anthony James. But getting back to the battle here, Tom Rathy has caught up to his teammate Jason Lundy, and in fact he is looking a little better through some of the turns than is Jason Lundy. But of course they are teammates. They will do everything they can to stay together and help each other out, no doubt. But in the meantime, there is a little battle going on between the teammates, and that's giving the advantage here to Douglas Beard, who pulls away a little bit from Jason Lundy. So I think they have to make up their mind here. Team Puffin Racing, they called Jason Lundy and Tom Rache. They've got to decide who is going to attack Dougie Beard, because until they can get that settled, they'll be battling each other, which is not a good thing.
Man, I think that off that Leandro Schmidt had earlier didn't hurt him too much. Card looking strong. He's opened up just over 2 seconds on Paul Darling now. Darling there almost was able to take advantage of that, but not quite. Schmidt still showing good speed. He's almost 7 seconds off of our leader, Humberto Roca, who, like I said at the just before the start of this race, he had the position he wanted. He got to the start there, and he got out in front. And he stayed out in front since this green flag dropped, Richard.
That is correct. Humberto Roca has done this in many a race that we've observed him in, and he's doing it again in the in the endurance series. We have to. I'll remind the viewers that Humberto Roca was not racing in the roof track in the other series that we covered. Season 1, he actually raced a Z4, if I'm not mistaken. So he switched cars, and he's doing, to my mind, as good a job as he did in the other car, and in fact, possibly just even better. Leandro Schmidt, by no means a shabby driver. He's a great driver. He's trying his best to catch up to Humberto Roca. It's just not happening. In fact, he's had to fend off Paul Darling after that big mistake that he made, but he seems to have done that successfully. So that's at least something that he's achieved. Now, Sean, we are 14 laps into this race. The guys carry 68% of the fuel, so that's around 2/3 of a full tank of fuel. They have to do about 2 minutes plus per lap here, so it seems to me that they should be getting fairly close to a pit stop now.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see a few of these cars move around a little bit like they weren't previously, getting a little slick out there. It's going to be time to come in and get fresh and get another stint in. Again, I think things are starting to free up on these cars a little bit, and that means the tank is getting light, and so is the car, and tires are hot and slick at this point. As I'm showing right now, it's 93 degrees on this track.
Yeah, pretty warm. Now, guys, we have a battle going on here.
Yes,
Christian
sir.
Hoogveld coming into turn 1. Christian Hoogveld, Kevin Hennings. Looks as if Christian Hoogveld got away with that into turn 1 with the Ford GT. Kevin Hennings behind him gives up that corner, but lives on to fight again. Now he closes up on Christian Hoogveld once again as they go through the S's. Very tough for the Ford GT to get around there. You'll see the amount of times the Ford GT has to touch the brakes to keep the car balanced. Now they come out of the S's section, or the last part of the S's. They'll go down a fairly long straightaway after they climb this ridge here, and then you'll just see the Ford GT disappear into the distance for a while, Sean.
Rathje right now getting around the lap car of Jason Hume. Did it pretty clean.
Yeah, and Tom Ratchie, let's see, Tom Ratchie has passed his teammate Jason Lundy. So Jason has given him the wave by and said, you go ahead and see if you can catch, who are they chasing? Douglas Beard in the Ford GT. So Tom Ratchie now with the bit between the teeth. What can he do against Tom Ratchie? And I think, what can he do against Dougie Beard, I should say. I think they're a little way far back, so this is not quite a battle yet, but we shall see. We shall see. Tom Ratchie is pretty useful behind the wheel of that Z4 there, Sean.
Well, Simon Goodwin brought it in for his first pit stop here at lap 15. Simon Goodwin making his out right now. Nice pit stop for him. He's bringing her out.
Yes, it was Arthur Hermom out on the weeds there, and he didn't do any damage to the car. Well, the car looks a bit slippery though. Let me just have a look at the front to see what happened. That was Arthur Hermom though. He did not negotiate that turn very well. As we will see on the replay, he goes out wide and he comes around. Oh no, he did hit the wall. Pretty hard hit too, so he'll have damage on that car, and he'll be into the pits for a new car by the looks of it, Sean.
Yeah, he got a new car. I guess that was my bad. I didn't see him run off there. Saw him in the pits. The car looked clean, and I just assumed everything was fine. But no, he needed to take that quick repair and get that machine back on track. But Simon back on track now, and that car is falling back to 22nd place. But again, he's got a fresh car to work with, and he got that pit stop in before everybody else. So we'll see if he can make that up.
Yeah, and we're still driving along with Arthur Hermom, who's wheeling his way back towards the pits. We can see significant damage on the rear end of the car. The car will not turn in. In fact, the rear end stepping out significantly through the corners here. So he is praying at the moment. He's out on the sand. Once again, brings it back in. Hasn't got any further damage. So get back to the pits, my friend. Get your new car and get back out there on fresh rubber and all of that. So a pretty, a trying time at this point for Arthur Hermom, who was doing pretty well. He's making plenty of room for all the other cars coming by, losing lots of positions. Now he will go into pit lane and get his repairs done. So, he almost didn't make it into pit lane. Had to brake hard not to hit the wall there. So, good luck, Arthur. We'll get back to you in a little while. So, Sean, what are we looking at?
I'm thinking Arthur's got to have just a sigh of relief right now just to get that car into the pit. Mike Griffith, I'm watching him head down the hill. He's got Dougie Beard and Rathjeet's back there still fighting behind him. Right now that's still a good battle to keep an eye on. Paul Darling still in the mix up here for third, but Leandro Schmidt continues to pull away just a little bit every lap. Still not much racing up front, but there are still those really good little battles throughout the field that we've been watching throughout the day.
Yeah, I've been driving along here with Tom Rathie. He's just gone past a lap car who went out a little bit wide. He's been struggling, I wouldn't say struggling, he's been trying to catch up to Dougie Beard once again. And Dougie has shown a clean pair of heels, if I can say so, to both the Puffin racing team cars, the Z4s. So it just goes to show the Z4s not showing all that well on this track. It's obviously one that is not quite suited to the Z4 at all, Sean.
I guess those straights are just a little bit too long. There's just not enough power there for the straights. Sure, it handles fine in the turns, but they even lose out to the roof, and I think that's just something that's kind of a part of that car. It's a shame. I know it could probably be faster, but that's what they've got it restricted to, and that's what we got to live with. And then you see all the muscle and the power of the Ford, and you just wonder how can they just be so separate on those straights? But that's just the way it is.
Well, we are going to Kevin Hennings at the moment. And Hoekveld, I'm hearing Kevin Hennings, Hoekveld in the battle. Yes, the battle is still on. Hoekveld in the lead in that Ford GT. Kevin Hennings, this is another battle, Sean, which has raged on. One of those sort of mid-pack battles that just kept going on. And good to watch for a while to see the different manufacturers battling it out against each other. It's quiet at the moment as they head down the front straight going towards turn 1 once again. Now we want to get back to the Tom Ratchie situation. We got information and I had a look that they are actually doing quite similar lap times. Dougie Beard in the Ford GT, it looks like he's streaking away at times, but it's not quite the case because when he's struggling in the turns, that is when Tom Ratchie is making up time again. It just looks more spectacular when he's just streaking away in the straightaways, Sean.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I got distracted. I was watching this battle here between Miguel Crudo and Troy Fagan. Fagan doesn't seem to have the greatest connection. I think we might have talked about that earlier. He gets right up on Hudson and then just kind of disappears and then fades back a little bit. Tough for him to have to compete like that, but right now Chris Hudson winning that battle, and right back there behind Fagan you got Anthony James still digging as well. They're battling for those 12th, 13th, and 14th spots, Richard.
Yep, it's kind of opening up, so let's just run through the standings at the moment. Our leader, and has been our leader from lap number 1, is Umberto Roca. who is just passing a lap car now. That's Warren McGarry, who is one of the lap cars. He's the last car on the lead lap. Umberto Roca leading this race. Leandro Schmidt about 6 seconds, almost 7 seconds back. And let me have a look here. Oh, that's a lap car. So he is in second place. Paul Darling in third place, 12 seconds back. Dujon Baldwin, who's been running in the Ford GT and running a great race in that heavy car. He is in fourth position and followed by Douglas Beard in fifth position. So those are the two teammates in the two Ford GTs, fourth and fifth position. Tom Rachi, the first of the Puffin racing cars and the first of the BMWs, is in sixth place, followed by his teammate Jason Lundy, also in a Z4 obviously. Then in 8th place we have another Ford GT, Christian Hoekveld, and he is followed by a roof car of Kevin Hennings. So that's 9th place, and rounding out the top 10 is another roof of Miguel Alcuro. There's your top 10. These guys are all still out on track. Of the top 10, we see that Miguel has been in the pits one time. Not sure what he went in for at that stage. Was that a regulation stop or not? But none of the others have gone into pit lane yet. So they should be getting reasonably close to their pit window now, Sean. And when we do see the pit stops happen, they'll happen in a rush, and all of them will get in there at the same time probably.
Well, someone who did stop Richard was Mike Griffith. Actually went in. He's on his out lap right now. Actually, just rounding out his out lap. The field he gave up about. Oh, he was running in sixth place. He gave up 8 positions, but he was the first one of that top 10 to really bring it in. Now, leaders on pit road now, though. Roca making his way into the pits, Richard.
Yes, I am seeing that. Let's get the camera onto him. We want to see what he's going to do. Obviously, he's going to take 4 tires and fill up to the max fuel, one would imagine. Bearing in mind the race is 44 minutes old at this point in time. There's still 59 minutes to go, so just less than an hour. So we'll make a note of that. 45 minutes on a tank of fuel here. Up goes the car. Looks like he'll be taking 4 tires. We can't really tell because all 4 go up at the same time. We can't see any little men of any description running around the car, so we can't say, Sean, whether they put any tires on at all, but one will have to assume that they put on 4.
Yeah, you know what? iRacing needs to get us little men running around the car. And I want a headlight scrubber, okay? I want a headlight scrubber. I'm putting in a call for that, all right, Richard?
Yep, we do have a windshield tear-off at least. That's a fairly new innovation. Now, in front of Umberto, Sebastian Roca, David Anderson. Is this a little battle? Yes, we have ourselves a battle here, Sean, between the 24th and 23rd position. Sebastian Roca. In front of him, we've got David Anderson, a bunch of other guys, Kevin Hennings, Anthony James. Looks like they're going into pits now as well. Let's just stick with this battle here as we see Sebastian Roca and Umberto Roca, our leader, or coming up on the rear end of these guys. What is going to happen? David Anderson stays in front, but Sebastian Roca, teammate by the looks of it of Umberto Roca, just immediately got out of the way of his teammate and allowed him to pass. Now Umberto passes the car of David Anderson, and possibly David will be heading into the pits now. Leandro Schmidt, by the way, heading into the pits as well. Umberto has done his pit stop, so now the pit cycle is starting, Sean, and we'll see a whole lot of them charge into the pits. It might be, while this is all happening and things are a little crazy at this time, that we might take a short break and gather ourselves for the second third of this race. Welcome back, folks, to the race here at Circuit of the Americas. We are on camera with Miguel El Crudo, who had just made a slight contact there with a car in front of him, which was in fact Tom Rache. Now we see him in the pits doing his regulation pit stop, his first pit stop, so this will drop him down a little bit, but it is, we think, a regulation pit stop. Looks like, Sean, everyone has pitted, everyone barring one of the back markers, Warren McGarry, is still showing as not having made a pit stop. But everyone else has pitted, so we're back to racing for position. Let's see what is happening. It looks to be like Paul Darling currently in first position at this point.
Yeah, Paul right now is showing the way right now. He got that position away, and he's holding on to it right now. Now, Darling, I'm showing. Let's see, his last lap was timed at a 2:36, so I think he might have just come off his pit stop and is hanging on to that spot. He might be cycling around right now, Richard.
Yeah, look, he's got what looks like a 9-second lead on Umberto Roca. We'll have to go back and check what happened there while we were on our break, Sean. Please go and have a look at that, because this is a significant development. We're getting information that Paul Darling did only a 10-second stop, which means he could not have taken any tires at all. Not sure how that strategy is going to play out for him. He does have only a 7-second lead now. It was 9 seconds on the previous lap. So with the tires that he's got, he can't make it around turn 1 successfully. He's going to have to go back in soon, Sean.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much fuel he put in the car. I don't know how much fuel you can put in 10 seconds, but getting word now that Crudo is out. He has parked that thing. That was actually a pretty tough knock for Al Crudo, and now he's got that car. They put it in the garage, and they're going to pack her up, Richard. And that's a shame.
It is a shame. Miguel El Crudo definitely looks as if he has exited the simulation. He's not involved in the race any longer. So let's get back to Paul Darling. I've been watching Paul Darling's car here, trying to see what advantage he could possibly have got from that short stop, besides, getting out into the lead and certainly leading laps. At the moment, 7 seconds between himself and the previous leader, Umberto Roca. Car looks very, very skatey, so I'm not sure that this was a wise move. Sean, what do you think?
Tell you what, it's down to 5 seconds already, Richard, and it's not paying off yet. I can't imagine why he only took 10-second pit stop. I don't know what he stood to gain there. I got to think there might have been some error there, and if that's the case, we talked about how critical these pit stops are in this race, Richard, and if that was a mistake, it could cost him dearly.
Oh yes, and also the fact there were no little men running around the car. Maybe he waited for them and then decided, no, I can't wait anymore, and he went back out again.
That's very possible. But Roca is closing quick, and certainly not getting any tires, having now almost 25 laps on him. And with the track temperature we were talking about earlier, that thing has just got to be a real beast to handle right now. He's got just a handful of wheel, baby.
Yeah, you're quite right. Just looking at Umberto's car, look how smooth he is around the corners. Paul Darling is basically battling that car around the corners right now. So, even the sweepers he's got to probably lift a little bit, and just watch as he goes now down into the left-hander. Pretty easy turn that one, but I've seen him in some of the tighter turns really struggling to keep that car on the track. So not a great move, but I'm sure that he has his reasons. He's also blinking in and out a little bit, showing a bit of connection problem there. So all kinds of situational issues there for Paul Darling, but he is leading the race right now, and that counts for something. Still, by the looks of it, 5 seconds ahead of Umberto Roca. We'll get an update when we pass the line, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot less than 5 seconds. Whoa, look at him struggle there. Yeah, Umberto Roca not that far behind. You can see him now. So I would guess that would be 3 or 4 seconds as they go through that long sweeper, coming back onto the front section of the track. Now we can see just ahead of Umberto, there he is. That's Paul Darling just in front there. And we're getting information there's a battle for position number 16. Let's go to that, Sean.
Yeah, it's really heating up. Jay Friels right now working really hard. The battle is actually right in front of him. It's Anthony James and Tim Collier, and Collier already starting to get away. Collier just put the power on coming out of the turn there and was able to pull away. So we missed it a little bit there. Yeah, and James is also past Friels right now and working his way now down into turn 11.
Well, guys, whilst that is going on, I have got the camera on Umberto Roca. Let's go back to the lead here, because we are seeing that the gap between Paul Darling and Umberto Roca is now, or was, at the line 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds. Umberto can see him. I don't think that when he finally does catch up with Paul Darling, as he will, there is no doubt about that, that Paul will put up much of a fight. Looking further back at Leandro Schmidt, Leandro making no inroads whatsoever onto Umberto Roca. So looks like it won't be too long before Umberto's back in the lead of this race. The interesting thing for me, Sean, is what is going to happen between Darling and Schmidt, because I think Schmidt will have the legs to catch up to Darling in this stint as well.
He just might. And again, that's the big question. How long is Darling actually going to be able to stay on the track? Is he going to come in the next lap? Will it be 5 laps? We just don't know right now. It's the big question mark. You know, I checked back in on Duljan Boldrin just to see how he was doing. Right now, he's got a clean track in front of him and really not a lot of pressure from behind. Couple lap cars behind him, but right now Boldrin just all alone got 4th place locked up. Now we're watching the battle for 6th.
Yes, sir. There's a battle. Mike Griffith and Tom Rache. These guys, it just goes to show how things turn around during the pit stops. They've fallen back quite a way behind Dujan Boldrin, but there is a battle on. Mike Griffith momentarily took the position away from Tom Rache. Tom Rache came back, took the position away from Mike Griffith once again. Now, at the moment, Tom Rache is in the lead. Two of the same manufactured cars in the Z4s racing each other. Let's stay with this for a little while to see what happens. Up ahead of them is a backmarker, James Hume. So he is not going to be a factor in this battle, except for being a car that they have to pass. They go down the front straight now towards turn number 1, and Mike Griffith at this point in time a little ways back. So let's see this battle develop on this lap.
You know,
and we're driving on board with Mike Griffith there. Looks like Tom Rache out of the turn 1 got a nice clean getaway. Now we see the way Mike Griffith closes up, going through the S's there. That's a whole, you have to be so precise going through there. Looks like Mike Griffith is better at doing that. They go through the last part of that. Now they've still got that back marker up ahead there. Go into the left-hander. Then now there's where Tom Rache really gets an advantage coming down the hill there. The back marker is no problem. They both get through cleanly. Or Mike Griffith, does he going to get in a tangle with the back marker? No, not really, but he did lose a bit of time there, Mike Griffith, so he's got to catch back up again. James Hume did the best he could to stay out of the way there, Sean, but the nature of these corners that he still hindered Mike Griffith just a little bit.
Yeah, Arthur Herman just right now taking over that position from Jason Lundy and looking strong doing it. That Ford GT found the power. Here comes Lundy again, though, working the inside. Lundy takes that away. Oh, they both take it too deep there, Richard. Look at that. And Arthur Herman back on the power there. He's able to get that car straight before Lundy. That's a good little battle going on right there. It looks like Herman's going to hang on to that spot.
Yeah, a rush of blood to the head here. They know that they're in a battle. You can see that they're both coming down that into that left-hander. They both went in slightly too hot. Both had to check up. Both got out of it safely, thankfully. And now the battle is back on again. But right at this point in time, Jason Lundy having to catch back up to Arthur Herman, who is a great driver. Is that Arthur Herman? Yes, it is. Arthur Herman in front of him. Now they go down the front stretch once again. This is where we will see the power of the Ford GT come into play. Now they go up the hill. Arthur's going up the hill. Here comes Jason Lundy. Now they're braking for turn 1. And turn 1 is very tough on these Ford GTs. But Arthur Herman does a great job. Now they go through the S's. Another tough time for this Ford GT. Let's see what Jason Lundy can do. We are talking about a battle on here for the 9th and 8th position. So they're battling for the 8th position, Sean.
Richard, the battle for first is heating up, though. Umberto Roca has made it to the bumper of Paul Darling, made it to the wing, I should say. And he's all up it right now. Roca looking to take over that first position, take it back right from where he started. And they've got a car in front of them they're going to have to contend with. Jay Frill sitting right up there in front of them. He's battling to stay on the lead lap right now, sitting in 17th place.
Darling into the pits. We called it correctly. Darling must have made an error in his previous pit stop. He just gave the position to Roca, said, no, I'm out of this. I'm into the pits here. So this is now Paul Darling's second pit stop. Still a mystery to us what he did in the first pit stop. Let's see what he's going to do here as we continue on with the other guys in the race.
Yeah, we say Hoogveld just made a little bit of contact with Kevin Hennings. Not a little bit of contact, but a lot of contact. And both of those, Hennings still under power, but Hoogveld taking the worst for the wear there. He is getting back under power. A little bit of damage on that car, though. It's a little twisted up right now. The wing is still good, so Arrow, he's probably still good. But, again, a little bit of damage for Hoogveld. That's kind of costly for him. I gotta think I know what Darling was doing. I got a feeling that he can make it with this pit stop, Richard. And everybody else still has to come in.
Maybe that is might be clever. Well, I'm driving with Darling now. He's just coming out of the pits once again. He took 4 tires. He was in there for quite some time. We'll get our director to tell us how long he's been in the pits there. But he's obviously taken a full head of fuel and 4 tires, so possibly 1 hour. And of course, this is a 1 hour 20-minute race. He'll be right for the rest of the race, no doubt. He was in there for 31 seconds. We are hearing. So yeah, it may turn out that well, we didn't criticize him, but we were wondering what he was doing. May turn out, Sean, that you're correct. He may have the right strategy for this thing.
I'm starting to think it's not a bad one. I got to be honest with you. I'm starting to like it. I didn't know what he was doing at first, but he obviously had that figured out. Had a plan going in. That's definitely a good way to operate.
Yeah, but you have to realize that he's done 2 pit stops. Everyone else only need to do 1. I mean, you only need 1 pit stop. If you can do 45 minutes, the race is 1 hour and 20 minutes. So obviously you've gone past the halfway mark. You have enough fuel, and you've got a new set of tires. You can make it to the end. So having to do what he's done in 2 pit stops, I don't know, Sean. I don't know whether we will have to wait and see.
Yes, we will. We do know everybody still has 1 left in him, except for him. So we'll see.
No. Incorrect, sir. 1 pit stop is all that is required.
Okay. All right. I thought we had 1 more in these guys, but maybe not.
No, well, obviously not. Simple mathematics, my friend. Obviously not your strong suit. We've got a 100-minute race. They did 45 minutes. No, maybe math is not my strong suit. They might have to stop again.
I think you were working on an hour and 20 there, and I was working with an hour and 40 there.
Yes. Okay, so maths was my strong suit, but obviously I've had a hit to the head somewhere and I got it all wrong. They have to stop again. Paul Darling has done his stop early. He's done a short stop, and now he's taken tires, and he's probably good to go to the end of this race. So yeah, maybe that is the best strategy here. Who knows?
Well, we're certainly going to find out as this race progresses. We know this. He's going to have to go a long way on those tires on a very slick track right now. So as that car lightens up to the end of that fuel load, which he's going to take it right down to the bottom of that tank, we're going to see exactly what he's got in that car. But Roca back to the front right now and looking strong. I mean, he's used to that view up there. So we'll continue to watch him dig for first and put as much space between himself and the rest of the pack. Right now, he's already opened up almost 14 seconds on second place, Leandro Schmidt.
Look, the spotters and the directors and everyone's having a big go at me there, Sean, for getting that mathematics so wrong. Look, back to the racing. Umberto Roca leading the race. 12 seconds behind is Leandro Schmidt in second position. Dujon Baldwin still in that third position. Dujon has been fourth, third. He's I gotta take my head off. Dujon's just done such a great job with that Ford GT. Now in fourth place, Mike Griffith. Fifth place, Douglas Beard, who's also done a great job in the Ford GT. He's been up around sixth and fifth position in this race previously, so they're pretty much hanging on to their positions. We obviously know now that they may have to stop once again. Paul Darling is currently the one we're watching and thinking that he has the good strategy. He is in sixth place. He's 1 minute and
Richard,
1
we got a
second
battle
back.
right here. Hennings and Hudson, and Hennings are around. Oh, contact there, and actually that's the car of Kevin Hennings that the one took the brunt of that. He's around and not happy.
Yeah, we'll get that on replay. Hennings and Hudson.
Hudson, yeah.
And Hennings, by the way, looks by the color of the car, he's a teammate of Paul Darling. Oh yes, very nasty that contact there between those two. Put them both kind of in a position where they now have to go and pit again and possibly get some repairs there. Not what we want to see, but we are back live once again. We were talking about Paul Darling. Now Paul Darling, sixth place, is coming up onto the back of Douglas Beard, not too far ahead of him. Douglas there's a lap car in front of Douglas Beard, Troy Fagan, but there's going to be a battle here between Paul Darling and Douglas Beard in a very, very short time, because he seems to be catching with the fresh tires that he's got on right now. And the lap car gets in the way.
Yeah, it's Troy Fagan in the way there.
Now they didn't make any contact, so that's good. But certainly we can see Paul Darling catching Douglas Beard hand over fist. Douglas now gets some of the power down through the stadium section there. And but I think that is only for the time being. I would imagine that Paul Darling will take that position from Douglas Beard and move up into fifth place. However, Sean is over a minute back from the leader, so even if they have to do another pit stop, remember we timed a pit stop just earlier and it was 31 seconds, so there might just be enough time for these guys to go in and come out and still be ahead. We're talking about Umberto Roca at this stage.
Yeah, it's gonna be close for sure. And the question is, does that strategy make up enough time? Only time will tell. Hey, Richard, the battle for 10th place has been a big one all day. Everybody wants to get a top 10 here, and Hudson, Collier, and Hoogveld are really going at it right now. Now, Hudson, not too bad. He's able to kind of open it up a little bit on these guys right now, but playing leader of the pack here for just a moment. But again, this is a good battle for 10th place right now. These cars are really competitive and really close, and have even mixed it up a couple times, traded a little bit of paint. So,
Well, I'm here to tell you, Mike Griffith has just been in the pits, come back out for his second stop. Tom Raja has been in the pits for his second stop as well. Paul Darling, we know he's done his second stop. So guys are starting to look at getting themselves set for that last stint here. Mike Griffith is interesting because he was in 4th position when he went into the pits. Now he comes back out. Mike Griffith is now in 12th position, coming back out of the pits. So interesting times as we start to see that second pit stops happening now, Sean.
yeah, and we got to watch this battle for P4 right now. You know, Mike Griffith showing in 4th place right now, and I'm not seeing. I'm sorry, I'm missing the battle between Darling and Beard, guys. I was on the wrong car. Yeah, they are battling right now, and Beard is stuck in the middle of that sandwich right now. He's got the McLaren in front of him, and right behind him, Paul Darling, just on his wing, man.
And nearly contact there from Darling on Beard, but they get away with it. Heartbreaking there. Anthony James, I believe, that is in front of them, is a lapped car, so he's not a factor in this battle whatsoever. But he needs to get out of the way as he's doing. He's in front of Dougie Beard, still in front of Dougie Beard, and there he's held him up. Paul Darling gets by. That was such a bad move from Anthony James. He should have pulled the car up. As we see now, Dougie Beard getting past him. He should have pulled the car up before turn 1, which would have been the right thing to do there, Sean.
Yeah, certainly would have been the thing to do. That is unfortunate for Dougie. Paul Darling getting a piece of Dougie's door there. Might have gotten just a little bit of that black and orange paint on that machine. So Dougie now doing a pretty good job of just keeping the car on the track. But that was unfortunate. A lot of ground lost right there because of, that lap car just didn't choose to get out of the way at the right time there.
Well, you know, in Anthony James's defense, Dougie was not close enough on the approach to turn 1. But what he did wrong, in my opinion, and this is only our opinion, folks, he came out wide, right in front of Douglas, out of turn 1, and Douglas had to check up severely. And what happened then was, of course, that Paul Darling had a clear run on the outside to pass. Now, that having been said, Anthony James is no longer a factor. Douglas Beard is past him. He has got quite a biggish gap now to Paul Darling, who we thought would catch him and pass him anyway. So Paul Darling now has to look for a teammate of Douglas Beard, Dujon Baldwin, who's currently in 3rd place. What will Dujon do? Dujon hasn't been in the pits for his second stop yet. Leandro hasn't been in the pit. And so it's going to be interesting. And there's a battle on, I believe, Sean, for P10.
Yes, and that was Huveld just getting past Tim Collier there, and now he's working on Huveld working on Chris Hudson. That Ford GT all of a sudden getting a little bit of a late power here, and but right now Chris Hudson is leading that pack. He hasn't given that spot up. He right now holding 9th strong, doing it with a little bit of damage on the right front after that incident there just a little while ago. But right now Hudson in 9th, and right behind him there we've got Huveld and then Tim Collier. That is a good battle to keep watching.
Yeah, certainly. And just saw Drew Litke going into the pit stall for his stop. So these guys are definitely getting their pit stops done now. Bunch of them going in. There goes Chris Hudson, Tim Collier as well. I am interested in when Humberto Roca will go into the pits, because obviously being our leader, and he's got a very, very good lead over Leandro Schmidt at this point in time, Sean. It's 11 seconds, closer to 12 seconds at this point, and 31 seconds back to Dujon in 3rd place. So the stops are going to be absolutely critical for the top three guys, and that is Umberto Roca, Leandro Schmidt, and Dujon Baldwin. They will have to stop again. Now that I've got my mathematics sorted out, they certainly will have to stop again. What will they do? Will they take tires once again? One would imagine not. How much fuel will they need to take to get to the end? It all comes down to those numbers now, Sean.
Yeah, it does. And Roca, from qualifying, we kind of suspected he had some sort of a plan. I have a feeling he knows exactly how much fuel he wants to put in that car. He stands to make up ground, obviously. If he doesn't take any tires, he takes just a little bit of fuel, takes just what he needs to get to the finish, then, he's going to be to the good right now. I just have not seen him make a mistake yet. And, again, it's his race right now to lose. So Roca will probably work some sort of a strategy like we just talked about, not taking tires and probably going limited fuel and probably cut that 31 to 32 second pit stop down to maybe 15, somewhere between 15 and 18 seconds.
Well, remember the pit stop that Paul Darling did was only 10 seconds. So this is very interesting. I mean, if he doesn't take tires, it just depends how much fuel he needs to get to the end. Arthur Imam has gone in for his second pit stop, and of the top guys, only him and Paul have gone in. So it's becoming very, very interesting. 1 hour and 15 minutes elapsed out of 1 hour and 40 minutes, which means they've just got under 30 minutes to go, as we see Umberto going into the pits for his second pit stop. Now, let us time this pit stop. How long will it take? Will he take tires? Very interesting stuff, Sean.
Well, he's got to go all the way to the end. And he's getting that entry in now and looking pretty smooth so far. Not much work to do right there. Just get it in the box and get it in right on the line.
Which he does. And now the timer starts. We'll see how long it takes for him. It takes quite a while before these cars go up if they're going to take tires. So the fact that he's still on the ground there, both all four wheels on the ground, doesn't mean anything at this point in time. Will he take tires? That is the burning question in my mind. He certainly, the jacks go up, Sean. He's going to take tires. We won't be able to tell whether it's 4 or just 2 on the left or right. Maybe by the time of his pit stop. But let's get a count from director. How long was that pit stop?
Man, I got to tell you, we're getting right now that the clock might have not been working right there, but that's okay. It was wasn't as quick as I thought it had been, and obviously he decided to take tires. We don't know how many, but not a bad stop altogether. He had the time to give, so we'll see here. Baldwin is quite a ways behind him, and Darling twice that. So again, he had the time to give. I think he's going to be okay.
Okay, well, to me that felt like around about a 30-second pit stop. Now, Leandro Schmidt in second place will inherit the lead at this point in time. Leandro's car looks like he's on pretty second-hand tires, so he's going to need to go in very soon and get some tires or just keep losing time. Dujon Baldwin still out there as well. Dujon now sitting in second place. We will see when he goes in. It should be pretty soon as well, Sean.
Yep, it will be. And all these guys now, everybody except Paul Darling, thinking about that next pit stop, when they're going to run in here. All of our leaders are getting that done. Roca now cycling through. Schmidt's still got to do it. So whereas he is enjoying a little bit of success right now, he's still got to bring that car in. And he's getting around these lap cars right now. He gets off of turn 1 pretty clean, heading down the hill through the S's. Leandro Schmidt is your leader, and the next car probably thinking about when he's going to come in.
Well, and just outside of the podium, we've got Paul Darling, of course, who's done his pit stop, but there's also Dougie Beard. Now, Dougie is still out on track, hasn't done that second pit stop just yet. So, as has Dujon Baldwin not done the pit stop. So, gonna be interesting. What are these guys thinking at the moment? Dujon is... Where's Dujon? He must be in the pits.
Not Dujon, still second. He's actually heading through the S's right now.
There he is.
Yeah, making his way over to turn 10, about to head into 11.
Okay, yep, I just kind of couldn't see his car for a moment there. Leandro Smith still leading, Dujon Baldwin in second place, and then of course Dougie Beard in fifth place. These are the three who have not pitted. So they're doing that last ditch pit stop. Can't imagine they're going to take tires. They're going to do a splash and dash by the looks of it, Sean.
Looks like that might be their strategy. Yeah, like I said though, Humberto had the time to give. We'll see how that splash and dash does for those guys. I worry about the tires. It's awful slick out there, and as we've seen, several cars have had trouble here, getting off the track deep into these runs.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Humberto Roca came out in front of Paul Darling. So by a good 13 seconds or so. So Paul Darling's strategy has not worked insofar as Humberto Roca is concerned. The other two have to pit, so Humberto is going to get the first place back, no doubt about it. Paul Darling, however, will get into second place, possibly let me see. Yeah, the battle is going to be, the pit stop battle is going to be between Leandro and Dujon, and where Paul Darling is on track, Sean.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. Darling, not that far behind him. I mean, he's he's about 12, just a little over 12 seconds behind Roca right now. And I'll have to watch the splits here, but Darling looking pretty fast deeper into this run. Obviously, Roca just pitted on the fresh tires. You would expect him to pull away, but he's got a lot of traffic there in front of him to work with. And Darling right now has got clean track in front of him.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that battle. I think that the gap is going to stretch out even further between Humberto Roca and Paul Darling. Already it's up to 14 seconds from 13. So my concern is, can Paul Darling get ahead of Dujon Baldwin and Leandro Schmidt when they go into the pits?
Well, it will be close. We know that pit stop somewhere between about 30 and 32 seconds, somewhere there. And right now, accordingly, if you look at the time between them, it's going to be really close. The podium is going to be a nice battle here today, Richard.
Yeah, it is indeed. And of course, the Ford GT of Dujon Baldwin, he will be trying to take the spot from Leandro Schmidt, which will be the second position. Currently, Leandro, of course, sitting in first place, but that is no doubt just temporarily. So Humberto Roca, absolutely fantastic driver. How smooth is he? And also a good strategy on the pit stop. So unless something funny happens, Sean, he's going to win this thing.
I'll tell you what, Baldwin just almost a little bit of contact with James Hume there. They were fighting through the corner there. I don't know why, but Baldwin manages to come away clean from that. But that was a really close call, man.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the clock here. 21 minutes to go. That, in these big cars, is still a long time to go on tires. And if they don't take tires, which of course is going to slow them right down, if they don't take tires, I don't think they got any chance of staying in their positions at all. So it's going to be really interesting, the finish of this race, as it has been in other races as well. But the extra time that these guys are racing just lends a little more strategy and a little more excitement, for me anyway, to the whole outcome of the race, Sean.
Yeah, I agree with you there, definitely. I just flew over to Paul Darling just to see what he was up to, and driving the car really hard and exploring the limits of the track, if you will. He's on an adventure all his own right now, but looking at a podium finish, if he could just keep that car on the track. He had a couple of close calls here a moment ago, but right now he's just in a battle with the track. He doesn't have any competition around him.
Yeah, look, we take a hats off to Paul Darling. He tried to taken advantage or tried something different to try and get ahead of Umberto Roca. At this point, it hasn't worked. He's falling back 40 to 55 seconds now, so we are talking almost 16 seconds. So that gap is certainly widening, between Umberto Roca and Paul Darling. So at this point for him, it is drive hard to see if he can get into the second place position. 55 seconds is almost not enough to get straight into second place once Leandro Schmidt does pit. So this is going to be one heck of a finish, Sean.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm just kind of scanning through the field right now, looking for any real interesting battles. And right now, we've got a battle here for 19th and for 20th and 21st. It's Simon Goodwin and David Anderson battling back here, and now Anderson's starting to open it up just a little bit, but they were right on each other a moment ago. And again, there are little battles still spread out throughout this race. A lot of cars still on track. The attrition hasn't really been that hard today, Richard.
No. In fact, there are only a few guys out of the race. Miguel Alcrudo is out. Kevin Hennings. Now, this is something that we did not pick up on. And Kevin Hennings is not showing as being in the sim anymore. We knew about Daniel Rice, Dexter Castro, David Slee, and Jay Dargett as well. But Kevin Hennings, there's a little mystery for us to solve before the end of this race, Sean.
Yeah, and, Leandro Schmidt is now your leader, and Tujan Boldrin up to second. So here we go. The race is on, Richard.
Yeah, well, Tujan 21 seconds back. I'd be pitting now if I were you, mate. Grab some fuel. We've got 17 minutes to go. Just on 17 minutes remaining in this race. So I don't know. Let's see. Umberto Roca, they cannot make it in and out of the pits in front of Umberto unless they're only going to take a splash of fuel. It's a gamble that they're going to try, no doubt, I believe, Sean. I don't know whether that's going to work because there's 20 seconds between Roca and Dujan Boldrin. And in 20 seconds, you can't get into the pits, take some fuel, even if you're going to have a 10-second stop. You can't get your fuel in and come out of the pits in 20 seconds. So they're definitely going to lose their positions, I believe.
David Anderson back in the field here. He just took away a 19th position from Warren McGarry. That was quite a battle heading up to one. And actually, the battle started off of 11. Off of 20. As they were coming off, McGarry kind of got out of the way. McGarry kind of got out of the way, and Anderson slipped around him, won the drag race up the hill, and takes that position away. Anderson up to 19th. He started 27th today. Finds himself 2 laps down right now.
Oh, that's right. And a lot of these.
And Schmidt spun. I'm seeing reports here that Schmidt spun up there towards the front.
We'll get that on a replay. I think. Yes, he certainly did. Got the car turned right around about nearly 360, probably about 310 degrees. There we're seeing it again on a shot from inside the car, or on top of the car. He spins the car completely around. Doesn't do any damage, thankfully. Gets the car turned back up. Go into the pits, my friend. You should have gone in 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, obviously we talked about that car getting significantly lighter and those tires getting even greasier, and it's time to get that thing in, man. And let's get back to some racing.
Well, the interesting thing is, how much time did Dujan Boldrin gain by that? Dujan was about 22 seconds back, so he would have got a good chunk of time, or gained a good chunk of time on Leandro by that move. In fact, let's go to Leandro. Where is Leandro right now?
In the pits. Leandro is in the pits. He's pitting now.
Leandro is pitting. Okay.
And here comes Boldrin. Boldrin coming into turn 20 right now.
Yep. Dujon Boldrin right at this point in time going into
Boldrin in the pits
as well.
Boldrin in the pits.
Yes, but now they'll come out not too far behind each other. Depends on what they're going to do. Are they going to take tires or not? We still got 14 minutes. I can't imagine they're going to take any tires.
Okay, and here's Roca in turn 20 having a little trouble coming out. That car got really loose off. And Roca will take over the lead of this race. And if
now
I'm hearing,
someone's
no, he
coming
won't.
out. That was Schmidt. Was that Schmidt coming out? Yes, Schmidt comes out ahead of Umberto Roca. The battle is on. But, Sean, Leandro did not take tires. Could not have taken tires. So, the difference, and we'll get that very, very soon. Well, it's visual. Umberto Roca about 4-5 seconds back from Leandro Schmidt. Carl Heron, a lap car in front, and the gap is
Hume has not been easy to get around, and there it is again. Hume not easy to get around at all. Leandro Schmidt into the rear end of him slows him down,
and Umberto Roca right on the rear wing now of Leandro Schmidt. It is always so bad when those things happen. Sometimes you cannot blame the driver. The slower driver, they just, they just didn't get it right. They don't know exactly what to do, where the other car is. But certainly when that happens and a driver is held up significantly, it is disappointing, not only for that driver, but Leandro's still in the lead, a very, very slender lead now. Umberto Roca can see him right in front of him. Umberto was also held up a little bit by that back marker there, Sean, so he suffered as well as did Leandro Schmidt.
Oh, and the spin, Richard!
Oh, the back marker. Who on earth is that? That is James Hume. Just cannon straight into Umberto, and Umberto now trying to get away from him. Spins
and
his
Roca's
car around.
Yeah.
Let's get a replay
and he's off
of
the
that.
track. He took the toe. Roca took the toe.
Yes, he must have had suspension damage there, Sean, from that hit from the back marker. It was a full-on hit to the side. That is just terrible. I'm sure James must be feeling terrible. Perhaps he just completely misjudged his braking point. It's the only thing I can think of in his defense. Otherwise, it is just one of the worst moves I've ever seen.
Wow, that's really unfortunate. Roca just, boy, that...
No, we're seeing it now on replay. The back marker lost the car on the approach to the left-hand turn. He was in a slide, massive slide, and slid into the leader. Well, he slid into Umberto Roca. Umberto then tried to get away, and he himself went into a slide in the right-hander and lost the car, and then, of course, had to take the tow. So we can't... Well, we can put some of the blame on James Hume, but certainly he wasn't trying a passing maneuver. He wasn't trying anything fancy. He just lost the car.
Well, Darling has made his way to Boldrin now, and Darling looking to get to second place. He is all over the wing of Boldrin right now. He's going to break deep here, and he goes wide around the turn. Boldrin able to keep it in nice and tidy there, and hold on to that as they head up the back straight, Richard.
Yes. Now, after that situation, Leandro Schmidt, with a bit of luck, we have to say, from the incident that happened behind him, now leads this race. He's driven magnificently. He's employed a strategy that you can't fault. Umberto Roca sitting in the pits now. Dujon Boldrin in second place in the Ford GT, having driven an equally great race to Leandro Schmidt. But Paul Darling, who made the fancy moves in the pit stops there, he's all over the back now of Dujon Boldrin. It looks like this battle is for that second place. Can they catch up to? Will they work together a little bit, Sean, to try and catch the leader, or will they battle it out for that second place?
Ooh, right now they're really battling it out for that second place. Heading up the front straight here, and up the hill they go. Paul Darling doing all he can right now, and just a little bit too much power in that GT of Boldrin as they head into the turn. Boldrin going to keep it nice and tight inside. Darling looks to go to the inside. Oh, and he cuts him off. Boldrin gets that car a little wide right there, playing good defense, Richard.
Well, that's all fair in war. This is war. This is not love, that's for sure. So, Dujon Boldrin is entitled to legally drive a different line before the approach of the corner. If he chooses a line into the corner, he must stick to that line. But of course,
here comes Darling to the S's, Richard.
On the rear end of his trying to. Will Darling try to go to the outside? It looks like he's going for the outside. This is proven time and again to be the better line into this particular corner. However, we do see a great entry and exit from Dujon Boldrin. Now Dujon gives him room, goes to the left-hand side to defend. Darling once again trying the outside position. You would imagine Dujon would be able to put the power down, but Darling actually beats him to the corner for pace, Sean.
That was impressive. A little bit of power, and he makes it to the inside right there. Darling really having a really strong run here. He wants that spot bad, Richard. He's going to get it. I'm telling you, if he just keeps working him, I think he's going to get it.
Well, we thought that early on, we thought it was just a matter of time before he caught up to Dujon and in fact took the position. That is still not the case. They are battling. We have 8 minutes to go. That is about 4 laps, possibly a fifth if the timing. Oh, as we see Darling go really wide there, taking advantage of an incident point. No fair, Sean.
You got some lap traffic coming up here too. Tim Collier and James Hume, and well, we've been around this traffic before. Watch out! Hume drives it in deep there, and Boldrin's got to cut it off, and he's got Darling all over him right there as they head down into the S's.
All legal. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary so far. Great job by Darling putting that pressure on. However, you know what's happening here. These guys are 20 seconds back from Leandro. Leandro now just coasting pretty much to the line. They can't possibly catch him in the time that is left. The battle is here. We've got back markers in front. Let's see who those back markers are. So in front of James Hume, the infamous James Hume, once again in front of Dujon Boldrin and Paul Darling at this stage. Dujon gets by Sean. Darling still has to get by. This time we see Hume staying out wide there, giving the position without any fight to Darling. But Darling's lost just a fraction of time there. Now in front of Boldrin, there is Tom Collier. So it ain't over yet, sir.
No, it ain't over at all. And, Darling.
Oh! Darling, his car is in the fence there, sitting between the Amco and the fence. He's going to have to take a tow.
Oh, man. Oh, I cannot believe this. Oh, and the battle.
Let's see the replay. He's coming up really hot on the back marker there. He was way too hot, unfortunately, and just hit the Amco so hard, bounced over it, and sat between the Amco and the fence. So his day is done. He won't be doing any further racing. He's going to have major repairs on that car.
Yeah, we're watching a battle right now for 4th position. Dougie Beard right now holding that down, but the battle right now is Arthur Hermont just got by Mike Griffith, and those two had been battling for a long time. Really seems like they've been battling all day. Great battle though right now, and just behind them it's Peter Hebron who's down a lap, but still part of the mix, and Griffith and Hermont right now battling for that 5th position right now.
Yeah, it's for a moment I thought Dougie Beard was in the battle, but he is way out ahead there, 8 seconds ahead. The battle here is for the 5th position between P5 and P6. Mike Griffith in the Z4 trying to take the position away from Arthur Hermont, who's run a great race today for all of the time that he's been on track there, which is just 5 minutes short of an hour 40. Now we see Mike Griffith. They both go pretty wide. Mike Griffith trying to get to grips as they go up the straightaway now towards turn number 1. He hasn't got the legs to stay with Arthur Amom in the Ford GT at this point in time. Now they get into the tight part of the course, one of the tightest corners on this course. Wow, look at Amom drive away there, Sean.
Yes, he does. He drives right away from him, and everybody now picking up a position there as a result there of that last little incident. But yeah, Dougie Baird up to third now, looking at a podium finish if he can just keep it clean.
Yeah, this ain't over yet. I thought that Arthur Amom was getting away, but through the S's, Mike Griffith caught up to Arthur Amom. All the time that he lost, he's got it all back again. Now they head down the hill slightly towards the left-hander. This has got to be turn number whatever
11
and 11. I'm hearing. So these corners all look the same. They all got red paint on the sides. It's impossible to say where they are.
That is a good point.
Well, the battle is what we've seen, excepting it's a little bit exaggerated now between the Z4 and the Ford GT. The Ford GT seems to get further away as we see a bit of a slide there from Arthur Amom. He seems to get a bit further away during the long straightaway, Sean, from the Z4 does the Ford GT. But the Ford GT, the Z4 catches up pretty quickly when we get into the tight turns. Both of these cars a little bit short on tires at this point.
And not much time left now, Richard. We watch Leandro Schmidt right now having to work around some lap traffic right there. He's got Simon Goodwin right there. Simon Goodwin trying to not go another lap down, but he will. He'll go 2 laps down in 19th place. Our leader, Leandro Schmidt, able to get around him here. Maybe just about a lap left to go.
Yep, and I have to say that Leandro Schmidt has driven a great race. I'm looking for the white flag. I'm not seeing the white flag just yet, so we'll see now as Leandro Schmidt comes around the last part of the course. Very soon he'll be going back front straight, and will he take, so we've got 2 minutes. It certainly won't be this lap. It might be on the next lap he'll get the white flag. Leandro Schmidt, great job. Dujan Baldwin in second place. Behind him, Tim Collier. Now, behind him is Tim Collier, but of course, Tim Collier is laps down. Douglas Beard is in the third place position. So, Dujan Baldwin, Douglas Beard, we believe they are teammates. So, we shall see, in fact, whether, yes, they are teammates. They are in second and third positions. Great job from them. Now, Sean, are you with us?
I'm here,
I
buddy.
had a technical problem there.
No, I'm here, man. Watching Griffith right now. He's right now all alone in well, not all alone. He's in fifth, but he's working on Arthur Hermont right now, and they are battling it out here in the final stage of this race. That battle between Griffith and Hermont is not over. Griffith a little bit off right there. Hermont able to keep control of the car, but he's still on him. Watch out for Mike Griffith here. He's trying to get up to fourth.
Well, this could get a little desperate. It's 1 minute 13 seconds to go. They're on the final section of the track. It might be white flag. In fact, it will be white flag, certainly for these guys. I'm seeing the white flag now. Where is Leandro Schmidt? Leandro is...
he's on the back straight right now. Leandro coming down the back straight.
He's on the back stretch. So is this the last lap for him? There's only 52 seconds to go. I would say this is the last lap for Leandro Schmidt. Keep an eye on him. Dujan Baldwin, second place. Keep an eye, on that fifth place battle. I'll stay with Leandro Schmidt for this stage to see when he gets close enough to the start-finish line, because he may well be getting the checkered flag soon.
Yeah, Griffith trying really hard to get to Hermont. Not able to pull it off yet as they get off of turn one and head down to the S's. Hermont just has the power down right now, really making that car, the GT40, stick well through the S's right there. And Griffith just not able to make up a whole lot of ground. What was a really good fight just seems to have kind of petered out right now. Griffith just not able to make up the space.
Well, we are seeing Leandro Schmidt come onto the front stretch at this point in time. This should be the final lap for him. There's no time left on the clock. I have not seen the I haven't seen the checkered flag, so this is one more lap to go, Sean. In fact, now Griffith might have another shot at Arthur Hermom, and Leandro has to do a complete lap, so everyone gets one more lap to try and improve this situation. The only people who really have an option of improving is Arthur Hermom, Mike Griffin. Douglas Beard is 4 seconds ahead of 5 seconds ahead of Arthur Hermom, so they can't possibly catch him. But over to you for the Mike Griffith Arthur Hermom battle, Sean.
It's still going on, man, and I'll tell you what, Mike is really close. Oh, and Hermon gets a little wide right there. Griffith able to put it underneath, and man, what an opportune time as they head right there and get into the horseshoe now around the stadium and head on over. That was quite a move, almost pulled off by Mike Griffith, but Hermont manages to save it and keep that car in front of him as they head down into the final turn here, turn 20, and head up the straight for one more lap. Griffith has got just a little bit of time left. He's going to have to work really hard to pull this off, man. That Arthur has just really driven the wheels off of that thing and played great defense.
Well, stay with that battle. Leandro Schmidt has just come off the long back straight there. He is now coming into that final section of the course, the last third of the course. Such a great job Leandro Schmidt did. There was a chance that he could take it. There was a chance for Paul Darlin. There was every chance for the leader of most of the race, which was Umberto Roca. Unfortunate incident that got him out of the race there. But here comes Leandro Schmidt. Leandro now going around on the final lap of the course. He will take the checkered flag this time around. Leandro Schmidt wins the race. Second place will be taken by Douglas Beard. Over to you for that battle, Sean.
Yep, they're coming out 11. They're coming out of 11, and Hermont right now still in control. Mike Griffith right there. This is a power section of the track here on the backstretch, and Hermont able to pull away just a little bit, but I'll tell you what, Griffith is going to break late. Watch out here as they head to the left-hander.
And Duja Baldwin has passed the line. He gets second position. Douglas Beard will, he's still coming through. Douglas Beard will no doubt get third place. Back to you, Sean.
Yeah, and Hermont able to hold him off right now. Griffith really working hard here on a really technical part of the track, and he's right there on him, but can't get under him to pull it off. They're heading around the stadium section now, and Hermont keeps doing what he's been doing, man. He's able to just put the power down and pull away. As they head into just the last couple of turns of the track, this is it for Griffith. He's got to give it everything he's got right here. He's going to have to break late and get off the turn with the power. Can he do it? He looks inside and just can't pull it off. Now it's a drag race up to the start-finish line, and I think we know who gets that. Give it to Arthur Hermont as he comes home fourth. Mike Griffith close in tow. We'll bring it home fifth.
Well,
I'm sorry, I correct that. I had...
Well, now, the Douglas Beard came in third position. Arthur Hermont came in fourth position there. And the last three were finishing just as you stopped speaking there, Sean. The other two, Dujan Baldwin and Leandro Schmidt, had already finished. They were way ahead by almost a minute. So I have to say, great racing towards the end of this race. Now, we'll go back and have a look at some of the other finishers. Who is the last one on the lead lap was, in fact, Jason Lundy, who is just coming to finish off his race now. The car looks pretty badly damaged. Jason Lundy, 2 minutes back, just crossing the line. Everyone else is down lap. So at this point in time, we will gather our breath and we will take a short break and come back and give you the absolute results all the way through. And we'll do some driver interviews as well. Don't go away. back to Circuit of the Americas in the Champion Motorsports Racing Series. This is the Enduro Series that we are calling today, and what a race it has been. Let us give you the full standings. Starting from position P1, Leandro S. Schmidt wins this race, the first race of the season. Dujon Baldwin in second place. Douglas Beard in third place. Arthur Ermom in fourth place. Fifth place held down by Mike Griffith over Tom Rotje in sixth place. Seventh place Drew Litke. Jason Lundy in eighth place, last car on the lead lap. Then in ninth place we had Christian Hochfeld, and in 10th place Sean Chris Hudson.
And bringing her home on 11th, Jim Collier. In 12th, Anthony James. 13th place goes to Peter Hebron. Jay Friels, a lot of work for him. He started 24th, brings her home 14th. Good run, Jay. Troy Fagan in 15th. In 16th, Cleaver Gomez. In 17th, David Anderson. Simon Goodwin brings it home in 18th, 2 laps down. Kyle Herron brings her home 19th tonight, 2 laps down. And rounding out the top 20, James Hume, 20th place.
And still 2 laps down behind James Hume in 21st place, Warren McGarry. Then in 22nd place, Paul Darling with that unfortunate spin that put him in the Armco. Then in 23rd place, we had Umberto Roca, another unfortunate victim in the race. Kevin Hennings, these are guys who exited the race. Umberto Roca was the last guy to finish in 7 laps down. Then Kevin Hennings in 24th place. Sebastian Roca in 25th place. 26th place Emil Garcia. Michael Alcrudo in 27th. 28th Jay Dargett. 29th place held down by David Slee, and Daniel Rice in 30th place.
Yeah, and Dexter Castro was a D-Not start and wasn't feeling too well tonight. And I just want to let everybody know that the standings you were seeing there on the screen, they weren't right. Trust Richard and myself, we gave you the right rundown there, okay? So, but hey, man, we've got a bunch of guys sitting up there want to get interviewed here, Richard. Do you want to head down there and talk to those guys?